Hey everybody, Scorpion here. So this is the startup procedures for the EG4 6000 XP. We're going to go ahead and run that. If y'all remember, I made my master battery the bottom one, just so it doesn't look like, we're turning them on backwards. I will turn the bottom battery on first, then the top battery. The reason I set it up that way is because I have room for two more batteries on top, and I didn't want to put all the weight in the top of the rack going down the road. I wanted it in the bottom. So that way I can slide more batteries in, connect them to the bus bar, hook the cable to them, and we're good to go, no big deal. The only thing you have to do is turn your master battery on first, wait 5 to 10 seconds, and then turn any of your secondaries on after that, one at a time, 5 or 6 seconds between each. So we'll start. The batteries do a soft start. So basically, when you first turn the battery on, the electronics inside of that battery say, okay, we're starting up. We're going to send, a partial charge, not the whole thing, to the inverter to charge the components and stuff that are in that converter. And then once they're charged, it goes ahead and releases and fires up and does a full charge to the inverter. So it delays it for a few seconds basically, so it just goes easy instead of all at once. So the sequence that we do, we turn the breaker on for the batteries first on the panel, and then come down and turn the batteries on. If you turn both of the batteries on and leave that breaker on the panel or inverter off, then that soft start doesn't happen, or where it happens, but everything's being held by that breaker. So once you've done that sequence and turned all those batteries on, when you turn that breaker on, it gets full force from the batteries. There's no delay at that point. So you want to turn that breaker on your inverter first, then go down, turn your master battery on, wait 5 to 10 seconds, then turn your next battery on. And if you have more than that, 5 to 10 seconds next, 5 to 10 seconds next. Then you go to your PV input, and you're going to turn your switch on the right side. Then there's a flip switch underneath. Then there's a flip switch on the left side of the panel that actually powers everything up and starts running power out. So to start off with, make sure all your breakers are off, and let's see if we can't get this done. Alright, so we're going to follow step by step what the directions say. It says to turn on the main breaker. This is after testing everything now, making sure there's no power on anything up here. Testing to make sure all the voltages are right, all that stuff. So that's your battery breaker. It's now on. So now we have to go down here to our batteries and turn your master. Remember, the bottom is a master for me. Turn it on. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then turn your second on. Dip switches for your batteries. It's important. Lets them know which one's the master and which one is not. So your master, they're all down, and for the first slave, the first switch is up, the other 3 is down. So you can see run lights blinking. I'm showing 2 dots. I think that's 25% battery. They said none of them should ship with less than that. This is communication cable going to the inverter. Communication cable between the 2 batteries, allowing them to talk. So then it says PV's the next thing. So we're gonna reach up here, turn our PV on. That sends the power over to here. We're gonna reach up here, turning that on the side, and then we're gonna flip the power switch on the side to on. And just like that, the panel is running. So there's a lot of programming and stuff to do. If you had other stuff, the next thing would be your AC voltage, and then your generator voltage, and then your power going out. But the only thing I have is power going out. So we'll go ahead and turn this on. And the only thing left is to generate power. So this is the switch, EPS output right there, that starts your power going out. But first I want to update the software and everything else. So I have to get into that. So I've already installed the dongle. I think it's waterproof. It's got 4 little screws. Let's see if I can get you down here so you can see the screws. It's the HDMI port. It plugs right in. Super easy. Screw the 4 screws in. It won't come out then. And as you can see, it's searching for its Wi-Fi. It's searching for connection. Once it's up, all 3 lights will be solid. But right now it's not up. It's just stating that it's ready. So that's kind of the next step, along with some of the settings up here. And I'm gonna play with them and try to get them right, and then see if I can come back and make a little bit of a video to actually show you. But right now it's saying batteries are at 52.7 volts, 48% charged, 0.16 kilowatts, and 200 amp hour batteries. It's set on lithium ion. So PV1 has 0.25 kilowatts. PV2 has 0 kilowatts. So that's your solar panels. This is your batteries. This is your grid. I have nothing on the grid, and I'm not using any voltage coming out. So right now it's saying normal. It's saying it's happy. It's got a little happy face right there. So I don't know. I'm gonna go through all the settings and see, and I also have to update firmware and all that stuff. So, but we do have power. It is currently working. I don't have a lot of solar coming in because it's a cloudy day and because I'm parked underneath trees. But PV1 has 166 volts on it. It's now saying 0.25 kilowatt hours. This will definitely take a little bit of learning to all figure out, and trying to download everything on the phone too. So we'll be back with you. Alright, so green light tells you everything's running normal. If it's blinking, you have an issue, or if the red light comes on, you have a fault. You can touch anything on this panel, and the buttons are real sensitive, and it comes right up. So hit enter and hold it 3 seconds, let go. You see this up here is blinking. So this right here tells you which category you're in, and I'll show you the book on that in a second. Right now we're date and time. If you want to change that, you hit enter and you see the year starts blinking, and it's year, month, day, kind of like the military does it. And you just hit your up and down arrows to change it. Pretty simple, self-explanatory, not a big issue at all. And that's your time. Then it cycles back. So you hit your up arrows. This again tells you which block you're in. This is talking about your PV. Then it goes to your batteries to change that, so on, so forth. That's to turn your alarm on and off. But there's a whole bunch of settings in here. A lot of them I have no idea what they have to do with anything really. You can set your minimum voltage on your battery or minimum amps, and it will automatically back out of it. It'll automatically kick everything out. So if we come over here to the user manual, all the way in the back, this is where it tells you basically what's what in the book. So each one, how to do your date and time. Then when that bottom number switches to number 2, then you're in PV input mode. Then you have battery. Then you have your UPS output voltage, and you'll have to do some digging, deciding what you want it at. You can set, you know, how much electricity you're using off the grid. You can set what times it uses electricity off the grid. You can set how much power you're putting out. You can set your voltage out and your amps out, all that stuff. It just is a whole lot of stuff. A lot of this stuff all comes in default mode. Most of them tells you default 42. Into discharge cutoff voltage range 42 volts. It's going to automatically shut off. Most of your defaults are pretty good. Some of them you might want to change a little bit, but there's pages of settings you can go through and different things you can change. So I went on the screen and did all that. So next I'm going to try to set up the Wi-Fi for it and get that up and running so I can use my app on my phone. Alright, so looking at the display, this is showing solar coming in and the inverter is charging batteries right now. So earlier batteries were 40 some percent, I think. Now they're at 50%. So it's slowly charging the batteries. And of course we're not using anything, and it's a horrible day out here, as you can see. It's a little bit of sun over there, but I mean, for the most part everything's cloudy. And also, if you look, this is my tree cover. So the sun's over there, so it's shining through the tree on my solar panels, and it's cloudy, so I'm not getting much sun at all. But that's okay. That's what I installed this for, because I knew I would have times like that. But that's what my plug right here is for. 120 volt 15 amp plug. Goes into the charger there. So you get 15 amps in and 20 amps out. It goes to the bus bars to charge the batteries. So that's what I installed that for, just to make sure situations like that I could get power to the trailer if I needed to, because the equipment I'm gonna have in here, I need to keep a decent temperature in here year round. But so your PVs actually cycle, and your battery too. So batteries listed at 200 amp hours total. Right now it's running 53.2 volts, and they're at 50%. About 13 kilowatts. So your PV1, it shows what it's pulling in right now. It cycles between, I think, 3 things. Yeah, so there's the voltage off the solar panels, 165 volts. PV2, there is no PV2. PV1, it looks like it's pulling 0.22 kilowatts. And it's done a total of 0.3 kilowatt hours since I turned it on, and it's been on for, I don't know, like an hour, I think. Something like that. So it's only five panels, so I don't have a huge array, but that basically filled this trailer up from back to front. But it's nice, it does kind of cycle. You may have to stand there for a minute to see. I'm waiting for an email to come back from the company to let me know what my code is to be able to set up the mobile app and all that. So as soon as they email me back, I'll do that and show you what the phone shows, and I'll show you what it shows online, the internet too. But with that said, let's make sure this bad boy works. What do you say? So everything's on and running. Of course, these two breakers are off because I don't have any line electricity coming in or grid, and I don't have a generator. So if we come over here, I haven't marked which breaker runs what, but I only have 4 circuits in here. So we're gonna turn breakers on. None of them kicked, so that's a good thing. So everything must be wired correctly. And I've just got an LED light with 4 bulbs here. You can see it's plugged in, so it should. Oh, not yet. I gotta turn my EPS output on actually. So let's shut these back off a second. Let's turn my EPS output on. You heard it click. So it's showing it's putting 120 volts out, but no kilowatts used. So line 1, 120 volts, 60 hertz. Line 2, 120 volts. So you can actually set your output voltage and your hertz. It's got a few different settings for you to do that with. So let's turn this on one at a time. So the whole trailer now has power, and this should, y'all pray for me, cut my light on. Oh, she works. So yeah, that's basically it. So I don't really need all this stuff on right now, but we're going to shut this back down here in a second, and I'm going to show you the shutdown procedures for this as well. Alright, so shutdown procedures for this monster. First thing you want to do is quit producing power, output power. Turn that off. So you heard it click, so it opened that relay, so it's no longer producing power. You can look right here, it's telling you power stopped. So with that said, it went back to solar intake of power and charging batteries. So you got a line going in showing power's coming in, and a line going to the battery showing it's charging batteries. If you're pulling PV power and battery power both, then the lines both point to the center with the arrow. If you have grid power, it points in, generator, all that. It shows you what's going on, which way it's pulling power. You can go in and change the settings and that kind of thing. So once you've shut that down, you want to shut off your generator, your grid power, then your output power. Alright, then you're going to kill your PV disconnect up here. So you're now disconnected from your solar panels up top. There's no power coming over here. So you're going to shut this down. Yeah. Alright, so now that's off. And one of the reasons probably for doing it that way, you want to stop producing power because it's going to give that thing a couple seconds to try to cool down a little bit. And that's pretty important to give it a chance. You know, if you were using it hard or whatever, it's going to be warm inside here. You're probably going to hear these fans still running. Then once you've done all that, you're going to reach over here and kill your battery breaker. Then you're going to come down here and turn your batteries off, starting with the master. Kill it. I'd say wait a couple seconds. Kill it. Alright. So now you know there's no power to the panel. It has used up any power that's left in it at this point. Anything stored in capacitors and stuff like that, it's drained those capacitors and everything should be done and over. So you're gonna reach over here and you're gonna turn your main power off. So that's your sequence to shut it down, making sure to drain all the power from your capacitors, not to leave a wrong current or charge on there or anything like that. So in this video, you saw the startup, you saw some of the settings and how to switch through those. You saw the fact that it worked. It's the first time I've ever turned this thing on. And you saw how to shut it back down. So that's your basics once you get it hooked up. What I didn't show was testing your voltages and everything, making sure you're in line with what the inverter can handle. You don't want to be pulling, 20,000 volts in on your PV line, because when you put that power on there, you're going to burn something up in the inverter. It's not made for that. So you're just checking your voltages, make sure you have correct current and voltage and that kind of thing. So I hope this is helpful for people. I never really could find a really good video that would walk me through beginning to end, startup, shutdown, some of the settings, that kind of thing. I had to look through multiple different videos and read the book to find it. And if y'all are like me, I need to see it to understand. I can't read and really follow everything. So with that said, hope y'all have a great day. I guess I'm gonna finish washing walls and start insulating the ceiling. See y'all next time.